Hello and welcome to Dressmaking Amore. Today we're going to be making this absolutely beautiful strappy dress. Both elegant and relaxed, this dress is perfect for everything from vacations to events at home. The link to this pattern that we're going to be using, called Rue, is in the description below this video, so check it out and sew along. The materials that you'll need for this dress are 3 to 3.5 yards of lightweight woven fabric, matching thread, bias tape maker, glass head pins, safety pin, scissors, and the pattern. And I'll be using a 4-thread serger and a regular sewing machine. For this Rue dress, I'm using a light blue flowy crinkle chiffon. You'll need a non-stretchy, lightweight woven fabric with a nice drape, such as a silk crepe, rayon twill, or a lightweight linen. Since the chiffon is a little sheer, I'm going to line it with the second layer, so I won't be using the facing pieces of the pattern. Instead, I'll cut 2 pieces of the front and 2 pieces of the back, one for the lining and one for the main fabric. There's more information about the needed fabric in the instructional ebook that comes along with your pattern, which is where you're going to find the pattern printing and cutting instructions too, as well as the fabric cutting and layout guide. Before we get started, click that like button down below and subscribe for more dressmaking videos. Let's begin! Here are the pattern pieces that I'm going to cut: the front, the back, the front ruffle, the back ruffles, and the strap. Starting with the center back seam. Place the 2 back pieces right sides together. Pin and sew the center seam. Do the same for the lining. Press. At the front, pin the darts and sew. Sew the darts on the lining as well. Press the darts, giving them the right shape. Stay stitch the front top edge of the front lining to stabilize the edge and the shape of the armhole and the neckline. Pay special attention to the corner of the V neckline so that it will lay exactly at the center front. The stay stitch will also act as your guide for sewing later. Then fold the front lining at the center V of the neckline and pin the corners together so that both will be equal. If one of your sides is wavy, just pull at the stay stitch thread to get rid of that so that both sides will be symmetrical. Also, check the armhole so that it's symmetrical as well. This is important so that in the process of sewing, we won't stretch it out of shape. Stay stitch the top edge of the back lining. Pin the side seam of the dress and sew. Do the same for the lining. Remember that the lining pieces are stay stitched along the top edge. Serge. Press the side seam as it is, and then press it to the back of the dress. All of your seams should be pressed in the process if you want to achieve a professional look and a well-made garment. This also helps with sewing neatly as your fabric becomes more obedient. Pin the lining to the dress around the top edge of the back, armhole, and neckline. Mark the center of the angle so it'll be clear where the stitch line should go. Sew the lining to the dress from the lining side using your stay stitch seam as a guide. Trim the seam allowances of the back and the armhole to 1/8 of an inch. Turn them towards the lining and understitch the back and the armhole. Stop 1 to 2 inches before the front points. Then trim the seam allowances of the neckline to 1/8 of an inch or 3 mm. Clip the corner of the neckline, stopping 2 mm from the seam. Be careful not to cut through it. Turn the seam allowances towards the lining and understitch the lining to keep it from rolling towards the outside. Understitch the neckline. Press the edge of the armhole. And press the neckline as well. Fold the corners of the front piece down towards the wrong side 5/8 of an inch or 1.5 centimeters and pin. At the back, pin together the open edge of the lining and the main fabric matching the side seams. Make sure to turn them in opposite directions so that it won't get bulky there. Sew the corners of the front to make the casing. Stay stitch 5/8 of an inch, 1.5 centimeters, from the edge of the back opening and serge. Hide the excess thread. At the back, fold the serged edge 5/8 of an inch or 1.5 centimeters to the wrong side, pin and press. Pull it down, setting it in place. This step will help you create a casing without twisting the fabric. Make a stitch in the middle of the serge seam 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter from the edge, forming a casing. Press. You can use a ready-made cord or make your own strap. If you choose a ready-made cord, it should be 1/4 of an inch or 5 millimeters wide so that you can easily slide it into the casing tunnel at the back. To make your own strap, sew your cutout pattern piece into one long piece. Use a bias making tool, a 12 millimeter one so that it won't get too wide, to prep the strap for sewing. Press and cool to set the fabric into our desired shape. Fold the strap in half, pin, press and cool. Sew the strap 1/2 millimeter from the edge. Press. Check that your strap is about 3 millimeters smaller than your casing so that it will easily slide in. Insert the strap using a safety pin first into the back and distribute the strap so that it's right in the middle of the back. Then insert it into the front casing. This way you'll have 2 equal ends. Finish the strap with tight knots. Sew the back ruffle pieces together and then sew the side seam of the front ruffle and back, joining the ruffle pieces into one big circle. Serge. Press the seams. Mark the center and the quarters of the front ruffle. At the top edge of the ruffle, sew the 2 gathering seams 1/4 of an inch or 5 millimeters apart, setting your machine to a bigger stitch length for gathering. On my machine, the setting was 5. Place the dress inside the ruffle right sides together. Pin at the side seam, centers, and in between, evenly distributing the gathers between these marks. Sew the ruffle to the dress, serge, and press the seam. Then hem the dress by serging the hem, folding the serged edge, and sewing. Hem the lining in the same way. And give your piece a finishing press. And we are done with our beautiful rue dress. Whether you wear it on your vacation or just around your home, you look absolutely stunning in your own creation. Get the sewing pattern at the link in the description below this video, and happy sewing!